What's up, everybody? We do our legacy life call. We used to do one in the evening and then one during the day. We would do a virtual call during the day on the scripts, training, all the how-to stuff, and then we would do something more of like mindset on Monday nights. Because some people were working in homes. We're pretty much the entire team is virtual now. So we figured we just combine it all into one. So every Monday we do these calls at 12 Eastern, 11 Central, 10 Mountain Time. So um, I'm gonna get right into it. So one quick thing before we get into like the actual script, all that kind of stuff, and why we like ethos leads, all that kind of stuff. We're doing, for those of you guys who don't know, we do it twice a year. All right. The Alliance has their four big events that they do every year. All right. They do one in January, April, July is family reunion, and then they do national boot camp. So the Alliance does four big events a year. And you go to those, you get points for the trips. You get to learn about different topics. You get to see the operation. Sometimes it's in Texas. Most time it's going to be in North Carolina. So that's the Alliance events. Twice a year, we do a Legacy Life event. We did one in May in Las Vegas. It was awesome. And then the final one that we're doing for this year is going to be in Dallas, Texas. Okay. It's at the Embassy Suites. It's a 6-minute Uber ride from DFW. And so it's Saturday. It's the September 20th. Okay. So you could either fly in late Friday night and leave Sunday afternoon. You can fly in, depending on where you're. I know there's people that are leaving Atlanta at like 7:30 and they land at 8:30 at the Atlanta airport. So you could fly in Saturday morning, depending on like if you have a direct flight and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's September 20th. Okay. Let me give you the lineup for that event. So Saturday from 9 to 5. Okay. Also, we'll have Marcus out of there, which I want to talk about that here in a second. But anyways, Saturday is all going to be virtual sales. Okay. No recognition, not really any mindsets. It's just going to be tactics, scripts, things like the nuts and bolts of our business of what to do to make 6 figures selling from home. Okay. Which everybody that's going to be speaking there is making at least 6 figures, if not multiple 6 figures. Okay. I know I'll be speaking there, Nick, Aaron, we got a bunch of different people that are going to be speaking there. So Saturday is the virtual sales ethos leads virtual side of things. For the first time ever, we're doing usually we just do a Saturday 9 to 5. We go do like a dinner and then people fly out the next morning. We had so much content in Vegas that we didn't have time to do like we did a retirement segment on IULs and annuities, but it was like an app, and there's just so much into that. And a lot of the people are wanting like more of that stuff. So if we were going to do that, we'd either have to go longer on Saturday, which we didn't want to do because being there from 9 to 5 is already long. So we didn't want to do something where we go from 9 to 8 p.m. So Sunday morning, so for the people that want to just learn virtual sales from home and you don't really care about learning about retirement like IULs and annuities, you can fly out Saturday night late or Sunday morning. For the people that are really interested in learning the retirement stuff, don't fly out till like Sunday at maybe 2 or 3, because we're going to be doing 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And again, we're right next to the airport. So it's at the DFW Embassy Suites. It's 6 minutes. So you could literally, from the time the event is over, you could be at the airport in 6 minutes. Okay. So we'll get you more details on that. All the tickets are $50. Okay. We have Mark Casetta that's going to be doing 2 hours on Saturday night, and then we're going to be doing a dinner and all that. We're going to have a lot of fun. The Embassy Suites includes your food, your drinks. We're catering in meals. It's going to be awesome. The $50 is just to help pay for Mark, help pay for and help cover the room, which we're not going to make our money back on that, but it's all good. Like we just want to give as much value as we can. So let's get into some of the scripts, because a lot of you guys are brand new. So by the way, don't miss that, because the stuff that we're going to be going through there, you're not going to get that at an Alliance event. You're going to get different type of stuff at an Alliance event. They do trust. They do a lot more, but it's a lot more scatterbrained. whereas ours is going to be solely focused on this. Okay. So they're both, you got to, but if you're selling virtually, you're not going to want to miss our event. Okay. So let's go pull up the Ethos script. Okay. I'm going to go put it in the Legacy Life Telegram. So if you do not have it, I want to go through my opening line. And then if you guys are getting objections, oh my gosh, if you guys are getting objections, for those of you guys getting objections, which we all are, post something in the Q&A that you're struggling with, and then I want to answer that. Okay, so here's the script. I just posted it in the Telegram. This is something that David and Nick put together. And in my opinion, I think David's the best at doing the Ethos leads. All right, he helped Nick pioneer this whole thing. He's crushing it. He's already written $200,000 in premium this year. He was really one of the first people in the whole alliance to do everything from home, start out of the gate, never did in person, just everything from home. So here we go. So the mindset behind the Ethos leads, this is the biggest thing. For those of you guys who don't know, and I'm going to train you just like I'm training a brand new person. Ethos is a life insurance company like Transamerica, Mutual of Omaha, State Farm, whatever. They are a life insurance company that does a ton of advertisements. Okay. TV, radio, news, a ton on Instagram and Facebook. So what they do, their ad, and you should go apply so you can see what your clients and customers go through. Don't get a policy through Ethos, obviously, but you could go through the application process and then not get a policy. Okay. I did this because I wanted to see the clients that we're talking to, what are they actually looking at? Okay. Like what are they doing? I had Chris do it, Chris down in Florida, and he was texting the agent back and forth, and like the exact same policy, they were trying to charge him for $1 million. He's 30 years old, was like $49 a month. Transamerica was $24 a month, something ridiculous. So they're way overcharging people, but they run an ad that's like, okay, get up to $2 million of life insurance, no medical exam, whatever, something like that. And then people will see the ad that says apply here and see what your rate is. And they start going and actually filling out an application. So when you're getting objections, oh, someone's already called me about this before, whatever the case is, I'm going to explain that. So let's say these people start applying for Ethos. At some point during the process, they either outright, because they're entering, if you go look at the application, it's like, what's your income? What's your goals? What medications are you taking? Have you ever been diagnosed with this? Have you been, and then people say, yes, yes, I have diabetes. No, I don't have that. They go through the actual application. It's not like, hey, they're applying online. It's a long process. And they either get declined outright. They either get, the person's like, oh yeah, based on your health, you can get $47 a month for $1 million of insurance. Then they go through the underwriting, and now it's like, hey, based on your new health, the rates is now $287 a month. So then people are like, oh, screw that, I'm done. So you'll see when we get to our opening line why we say what we say. So they either get declined, the rate changes on them. Okay. So they're looking to get this because they see an ad. And then, as you guys know, there's not a one size fits all. It's based on your age and your health. Okay. If you're 30 years old and you're completely healthy and you want $1 million term policy, it's $40 a month. All right. If you're 55 years old and you got high blood pressure, it's $500 a month. You know what I mean? Because it's ending late, all that. We all know how that works. Okay. So they see a generic ad, they start applying. Okay. Or they get declined, or they get kicked out, or they just get too busy. So Ethos life insurance agents have the first crack at those leads. So let's say someone gets too busy, they get declined. An agent from Ethos, they're spending the money on advertisements. They're going to try and call them and convince them to buy some type of policy. All right. Once Ethos realizes, however, that they're not going to sell this client, they now sell that data to Integrity. So that's how we get the lead. So they're thinking, okay, well, we're paying for social media, Facebook ads, this, that. We have their social. They're obviously they don't give the social, but they give the address, the age, all that stuff. None of the personal information. So they're like, rather than making no money, we have all these people that are applying, and they would rather get the business themselves, but there's all these people that apply and don't finish it. That's why they're called ethos abandoned cart leads, because people start applying and then don't go through with them. Does everybody got that? That's how those are created. And then they're like, oh, we can sell 10,000 a week of these to Integrity. And if they're selling them for 18 bucks a pop, and that's what they sell them to us for, who knows what they actually sell them for. But we're paying $18 for a brand new one and $8 for an aged one. Think about it. Rather than making no money on the clients that they lose, if they sell 10,000 a week for 10 bucks a piece, that's a lot of money. Okay. That's how our leads are created. Okay. So that's the mindset. How many do you need depending on how many do you need to make a certain amount of income? If you're part-time, and let's say you want to make 1,000 a week part-time, you need between 30 to 35 a week. Okay. Here's the numbers on that. So if you get, as you guys know, if you get on an auto subscription, and this, we're talking about the $8 ones, $8. So if you get, let's just for easy math, let's call it 30, 8 times 30, that's $240 a week in leads. If you get it on the 15% auto ship, it brings it down to, I think, either 200 or 190 or something like that. And here's what we've seen for the brand new agents. If you dial them like you're supposed to, if you dial those ethos leads one time midday, one time in the evening, and you do that every single day for the week, you'll be able to get a hold of about 16 to 20 of them. There's a very high answer ratio on the ethos leads. Of the 16 to 20 of those people, half of them are going to hang up right away. Oh, or they're not going to hang up. They'll be like, oh, I already got it taken care of. Or, hey, I'm at work, call me later, which we'll get into that here in a second. Half of them you'll even, like, they're just like, you can't get back on the phone right there. Like, it's just a hang. Oh, I'm not interested, but whatever. So then of those 7 or 8 people, you're booking second calls with. Okay. And of those 7 or 8 people, so let's say you book 8 appointments, 3 or 4 are going to bail on you. And of the 4, you'll typically sell 2 and you'll make 1,000, 1,500. And then you're spending 200 on the lead. So there's your 1,000 a week. Okay. Does that make sense? So then people like, you see people like David Helgeson who are, writing 10,000 a week or 8,000 a week. He's buying between 60 to 80 ethos leads a week. So he's just number one, he's more skilled. Number 2, he's buying a lot more. Okay. But I'm talking about someone that's part-time. You need to buy at least 30 leads a week, every week. And whether you have a good week or a bad week, it's not like you have a bad week and you don't buy them the next week. That's another, you have to every single week. Good week. Oh, I sold 4 this week and I made 2,700. Okay, sweet. Do it again the next, next week could be a goofy batch. It's over time. That's what the numbers are. If you get 30, you'll get a hold of about 15 to 20 of them. If you dial them the right way, half of those hang up right away. Of those half, you'll be able to book a second call. Half of those won't answer the second call, so you end up chasing them. Not that they won't ever buy from you, just like they forget about it, whatever. And then you'll be able to sell. You should be selling 10 to 12% of the actual leads. So if you buy 30 leads, you should be selling 3 policies. Okay. Because sometimes you'll get one that's like you get the husband and the wife. All right. So, and if you're spending 200, you sell 3 policies, you guys know how it goes. It could be a 40 a month. It could be a 400 a month. It doesn't really matter. Overall, it adds up to be between 80 to 150 a month. Okay. That's how that goes. All right. So let's actually get into the scripts, but you guys need to know where the mindset comes of people just buy leads when they feel like it. You need more people to get on the phone. And also the leads these people were applying for insurance within the last 90 days. So if you think about it, when we get to the objections, okay, so if everybody pull up their script right now. So like my opening line every single time is, hey, John, it's Mike with Legacy Life. I'm getting back to you about a life insurance application you started with one of our partner carriers, Ethos, and we see you didn't finish it. What happened with that? Were the rates too high? Did you get declined? Did it kick you out for health reasons? Or did you end up going with one of our other companies? I know they're going to give me one of those. Because what happened? They were applying a month ago, 2 months ago, 30 days ago, 5 days ago, or the longest is like 3 or 4 months ago. All right, if you're buying typically. So what happened in that 3 months? They either that's why I give that objective. So go through your opening line. Hey, John, it's Mike with Legacy Life. I'm getting back to you about a life insurance application. You started with one of our partner companies, Ethos. We see you didn't finish it. Hey, what happened with that? Were the rates too high? Did you get declined? Did it just kick you out for health reasons? Or did you end up going with one of our other companies? It's going to be one of those things. Because they didn't get the policy, so they either got declined. They were trying to get it, but they got declined and never got back to it. Or the price went way too high, so they're like, screw that. And then they ended up going with somebody else, okay? So it's not that they weren't interested, but that's what they'll say on the phone. Oh, I'm not interested. I'm good. I already took, so you have to get down to the root cause of that. Okay, so let's go through the first script. Let's go through the first objections. Go down to the common objections. Don't have time. I already took care of it. I'm not interested anymore. Those are the 3 that you're going to get. Oh, I don't have time right now. Call me later. Already took care of it and not interested. Already took care of it and not interested are basically the same. Okay. So they're like, when they say they don't have time right now, here's what I'll say. I'll say, perfect, John. Hey, let me ask you one quick question to see if it even makes sense to give you a call back later. Hey, when you were originally applying, what happened? And I asked the same question again. I have had people that tell me, oh, now's not a good time. And I ask it again, and then they talk to me for 20 minutes. Like most of you guys just give up on the first objection, okay? Oh, hey, I'm at work. Now's not a good time. Hey, John, no worries. Let me ask you one quick question to see if it even makes sense for me to call you back later this evening. Hey, when you were originally applying, was the rates too high? Did you get declined, or did you already go with one of our other companies? I want to get down to what happened. And then if they are like, Mike, we can chat later. I'm in the middle of a work meeting, blah, blah, blah. Here's what I'll say to make sure that they answer tonight. I'll say, oh, no worries, John. What time do you get off work tonight? 5:30. I'll say, hey, I've got 30 seconds of questions for you. I see the agent didn't close out your file. Tonight, I'm going to ask you 30 seconds of questions, and then I'm going to close your file out so agents stop calling you about this. I'm sure it's annoying to get calls during the day. Well, I'll get you crossed off the list tonight, but I got 30 seconds. Hey, does 6 p.m. work? So that way, they have to talk to me for me to cross them off the list. It's a little psychological thing. They're like, okay, because they've gotten calls from integrity leads, these people, they got calls from Ethos Ethos agents 2, 3, 4 times. Then if you're buying the $8 ones, someone called them on the 2 or 3 times from the $18 leads. So they've gotten calls from 4 or 5 agents, and most agents aren't diligent and don't follow up. But what I'll say is, if they're actually too busy to talk, I'll say, hey, John, what time do you get off work tonight? I get off at 6. Okay, real quick. I'm going to put you down for 6:30. My job is just to close your file out. I've got 30 seconds of questions. I'm going to call you tonight, update that in the system since the agent didn't do that, and then I'll cross you off the list so people stop calling you about this. I'm sure it's annoying to get calls at work, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I'll call you tonight at 6:30. Chat then. But I let them know, I'm not crossing you off the list until you answer my call. Okay. Can we actually cross them off? No. But if you sell them the policy, you know what I mean? It's typically, if we're buying the $8 ones, you're the last one to buy the lead. You can't do that on the $18 ones. They're going to resell that lead anyways, but whatever. Okay. I hope that helps. When they say they don't have time right now, hey, John, let me ask you one quick question to see if it even makes sense to give you a call back later tonight. Hey, when you were originally applying, what happened? Did you outright get declined? Did you get? Then they'll tell you. They'll straight up tell you. Already took care of it. Okay. Here's what you're going to end up getting. If you get objections, here's what you're going to end up getting the most. Already took care of it, not interested. Okay, so I go through the opening line. Oh, I already got that taken care of. I'll say, oh, sweet. No worries, John. The agent didn't notate that here in the file. Give me 20 seconds. Let me update this for you. I'm sure it's annoying to keep getting calls about this. I think he just made a goof and forgot to update all this stuff. How long ago did you get it taken care of? A month ago, 2 months ago. I know it's recently because they were applying within the last 2 to 3 months. So I know recently he just got it taken care of. Okay. John, how long ago did you get taken care of? 2 months ago. Oh, nice. And I'm guessing, hey, you probably ended up going with one of our other companies because the rates were just too high at Ethos. Yeah. Who'd you end up going through? Northwestern Mutual, Banner, this company, that. Okay, nice. Yeah, they're pretty good. That's one of our other ones. Hey, let me ask you this, John. Did you end up going through Northwestern Mutual because you had a friend that worked there and you got referred, or was it because the agent at the time said that was the best of rates available? Usually they'll be like, well, the agent said that was the best price I can get. Okay, sweet. No worries. Okay, let me update. Almost done here. And then did you end up getting the term or the whole life? Term. How long of the term? 20 year, 30 year? Okay, nice. You get 100,000, 500,000. I'm trying to get, well, why do you care? John, I just have to update this in our system so that way you stop getting calls about this. Your agent forgot to do it. It makes me look like the bad guy. And then once I get the name of the company, the price, all that, then boom. Now then I can say something like, huh. So the agent at the time said Northwestern Mutual was the best rates available. And you said you're paying 170 a month for the million. That's in the top 10 for best prices, but it's not in our top 5. If I could find you something for the exact same coverage, but it's a lot more affordable, would you at least want to know what that option is? Don't say, would you want to switch? Whatever. Once I get the rate, what they were looking for, what the price was, I'll just say, John, I'm seeing at the time you applied, Northwestern Mutual was the best, but we didn't have all the options available. Okay. Some agents only have access to a specific database of companies. Whereas at the time you applied, we can see Northwestern was the best, but I'm seeing here, there's about 4 or 5 companies that have much better rates. You're going to be paying that term policy for 170 a month for the next 30 years. Okay. That's a lot of money over the next 30 years. If I could find something that's a lot more affordable for your family for the exact same $1 million coverage for 30 years, would you at least want to know that option's available? What do you think they're going to be like? No, I don't want to find something that's more affordable for my family. That's a good way to ask the question. Okay, then you can go from there. And if they say no, then you're done. What can you do? You know. But most people, if someone, like, let's say you just bought. Here's a good example of this. Already got it taken care of. Not interested. You were looking for car insurance 3 months ago. You filled out some stuff online. You had all these people contact you. You finally got it taken care of. Okay. Of what you believe is the best. And you and I both know, all of you agents on here, we have 50 of the top companies. So 98% of the time, we can always beat what they have because people that work for Northwestern Mutual only sell Northwestern Mutual products. People that work for State Farm only sell, there's agents that I only work for these 3 companies. I work for Transamerica, this company, and that company. We work for 50 of them. Okay. And we're about to get the best one on the market here soon, Corebridge, the best priced one. Transamerica's top 5, Corebridge is number 1. So we're about to be able to smoke everybody, no matter what they say. Okay. There's only been 5 times in my 4 years where if they just got a policy through somebody else, I haven't been able to beat it with hundreds and hundreds of clients. Okay. Gosh, what was I going on that ADHD? Yeah. Okay, so you filled out this thing, you were trying to get car insurance, you just got it taken care of. So other people, a month from now, 2 months from now, you already got your car insurance in place. They're like, hey, we see you filled this out. You're like, oh, I'm good, I'm not interested, because you're busy, you already got it taken care of. But if they said, hey, Mike, I'm seeing at the time you apply, and they figure out that you have USA or State Farm or this company, that they say, hey, I see at the time you applied that was the best, but I'm showing here you didn't get all the options presented to you and you're way overpaying on your insurance. If there was a company with the exact same plan that you have now, but it was a lot more affordable, would you at least want to know that's available to you? Most people want to know what's available to them. Okay. And that's not going to work every time, but that's a lot better than you just saying like, oh, well, if I can get you something like, yes, we're trying to get them something cheaper, but you have to ask it in a tactful way to get there. And I do that. I'm not going to close out your file till I kind of make it like I'm typing. Like, okay, hey, if they're like, oh, I'm already good. I already got to take care of it. Okay, John, before you go, let me update this so you stop getting calls about this. I'm sure it's annoying to already have it taken care of and people keep calling you about this. Hey, real quick, how long ago did you get it taken care of? 2 months ago. Who'd you end up going through? Why do you care? I just have to notate this or we can't cross you out of the system. You're in a database of agents. And if I don't get your file out of here, then other people are going to keep calling you throughout the year. Okay, I got it. And then what they're thinking is, okay, if I just give them a little bit of information on my policy, these damn annoying agents will stop calling me. Which it's not a lot. I mean, it's 3 or 4 agents, and most of them suck or have worse products than we do. So they're not interested, and some of them didn't get it taken care of, and they're not interested because they were like, oh, here's what I've heard through Ethos. I think Chris and I just wrote one. We have this guy from Australia, and the premium's $2,000 a month. And Ethos was trying to offer him final expense. He needs a $4 million business loan, all right, which he ended up just getting. And the only way they would give it to him is if he got a $4 million life insurance policy. And he went and applied through Ethos, and they were like, we're only going to give you $50,000 of final expense. So this guy who's already a millionaire is he's 64. He's looking for $4 million in coverage. And Ethos, because of his age, is like, oh, we're only going to give you $50,000. So it's like, can you see how he'd be pissed off at Ethos? Of course. So that was like, and Chris ended up writing the app, and it's a $2,000 a month app. Like it's going to be like a $17,000 commission off an $8 lead. Okay. We get clients like that all the time, and they're looking for this, and Ethos is like, oh no, we'll give you final expense. So when they're like, I'm not interested, because they've talked to 2 or 3 other agents that don't know what they're doing, and they're all trying to offer them final expense. So they're not interested because you're like, well, this guy told me I could only get 50,000. This person told me I could get 30,000. So you got to get down to the root cause of why are they not interested. So, and then one thing I'll say, if they're like, they're not interested. Okay, this is my favorite one. This is really good. Have any of you guys ever I'm not interested? Oh, I'm not interested. Okay. So here's what I did. Okay, John, no worries. Let me get you crossed out of the system so you stop getting calls about this. I got to notate this in the file. Hey, are you not interested because the price was too high? Or are you not interested because you already got it taken care of with one of our other companies? Get down to the root cause. Oh, the price was way too high. I applied and my budget's only $150 a month. And the last 3 agents that called me are trying to make me spend $500 a month. So of course the guy's not interested because he's trying to get this and everyone's telling him to pay this, Or if you want to be bold and someone's being a jackass to you on the phone, I'll say, but I'm just not interested anymore. Let's say you say, hey, are you not in? Hey, John, no worries. I got to just update this in the file real quick so you stop getting calls about this. If I don't, the calls will continue to come. Hey, are you not interested because the price was too high, or you already went with one of our other companies? Well, I'm just not interested anymore. I'll say, John, you were applying 3 months ago. Okay. So is it just because, hey, everything was way out of your budget, or is it because you're not trying to help you out your family anymore? I'll say something bold like that. Hey, are you not interested because the prices were just way out of the budget, or you already went somewhere else? Or are you not interested because something happened with your family and you're not interested in leaving money and helping your family out anymore? I'm going to make them tell me I'm not interested in helping my family out anymore. I'll say that shit. I don't care. Okay, let's see what these questions are. I already have it taken care of at work. Okay. So The anonymous, oh, I already have it taken care of at work. I did it through Ethos. It was really expensive. Ain't no way I'm paying for that. Okay, let me give you that one. So let's get down to the root thing. They already have it at work, and they knew they had it at work. So why were they applying through Ethos? Okay, well, it's too expensive. I'll just say, now here, for you guys to know this, this is helpful. 97% of people outlive their work insurance. Do you know why? So that means 97% of the work policies don't pay out because people retire at 60, 65, or 70. And life expectancy is 79 for a man and 81 for female. So if people retire at 65, that means they have to die while working for it to pay out. So one of the questions I'll say, hey, outside of work, who's drafting your account for life insurance? And then you just sell them on the fact of, okay, and I'll tell them, like, most people don't die at work. All right. Because that would mean you die premature. Now you need the insurance because people die every day. Now, if we get a new policy and you do die at work, well, okay, that one pays out and this one pays out. Your family's not going to be pissed because you ended up getting more coverage, but you'll be pissed if you have to go reapply at 65 and you're trying to leave 100, 200, 300,000 for your family. And now you're 65, even if you're in completely good health, it's way more expensive at 65 than 47. And we just know statistics. And what about this? What if you get diagnosed with cancer? Or what if your company like AT&T just takes away all their work benefits? AT&T, go Google this. There's a Forbes article about it. AT&T took away all their retirees' life insurance benefits. So people that didn't go out there and buy life insurance because they're like, oh, AT&T said that we have life insurance the rest of our life. There's an article on Forbes about AT&T taking away their life insurance benefits. So I'll send that to people, So I just say, whatever you have this is why it's called a work benefit. Whatever you have at work, it's either really, really cheap or free. So take it. It's free. It's a work benefit. But let's get something that you own. So no matter what happens with your career, think about the people that end up, or what happened during COVID, when people got laid off or furloughed and then passed away. Not necessarily from COVID, they got in a car accident, whatever. You think those work companies paid those policies if you were furloughed? No. Okay. It doesn't hurt. In fact, it doesn't hurt. It's smart to get something outside of work because you own the policy. Like, do you want to leave your family's financial future up to your company? No. Okay. I did it through Ethos. So objection 2, I did it through Ethos, so it was really expensive. Ain't no way I'm paying that. So I'll kind of like shit on Ethos, if you will, or I'll be like, I know Ethos it's just the company that you see most of our advertisements through. They're not even in our top 20 for pricing. Thank God you didn't end up going through Ethos. You'd have been way overpaying. So John, it's not that you weren't trying to help your family out and get everything taken care of. It's just that whatever Ethos was saying the price was way out of the budget. Is that what I'm understanding? Okay. Then you get down to the why. So I did Ethos. It was really expensive. Ain't no way I'm paying that. So, hey, John, when you were applying through Ethos, what was the reason you were applying? Was it to protect a mortgage? Was it for income replacement? Do you have any debt? Was it to cover a business loan? Were you just trying to cover funeral and final expenses? What was the reason that you were applying in the first place? Get the reason. Okay, so, and is that something that's kind of important to you, or is that something that's really important to you? I'll ask that. It's really important to me. So it's really important to you, but the reason you didn't take care of it is just because it was out of the budget. Is that what I'm understanding? That's a great question. Yes. So if we could find something that solves X, Y, and Z, but fits the budget, is there any reason you wouldn't take a serious look at that? No. God, this is so easy. Okay. It becomes easy once you do it a lot. It's not easy at the beginning because people give you all these dumb objections. But the main objections you guys are getting is not interested anymore, already took care. They're not interested anymore because they already took care of it, or they think it's too expensive. So you have to get down to the root cause. Yeah, email me some quotes and I'll look at that. No, you never email people quotes because you don't control the power. So here's what I'll do. When I'm doing the first call and I'm fact finding, the first call is your fact finding. This is who I am. What happened? What were you looking for? Health, all that kind of stuff. So at the end of it, DJ, here's what I'll say. I'll say, okay, John, so your main goal is covering the mortgage. You want to make sure X, Y, and Melissa's taken care of if something were to happen to you, because you guys still owe 280 on the mortgage. If you were to croak out right now, does she have the income right now to be able to live stress-free, pay the mortgage, all that? No. Okay, so that's something that's really important to you, but you just want it to fit the budget. Okay. So then you go to, here's what I do. I work for the top 50 companies in all of Georgia. Okay. And I have a special database that I can type in your height, your weight, tobacco, non-tobacco, your medications, and it gives me the top 3 companies in the entire state for your situation. So rather than you filling out forms online or overpaying through this company, I get all of it and I put it in a database and it does all the shopping for you. Okay. I'm going to need 24 hours to do some research. Okay. I want to make sure we're getting the best available thing. What time tomorrow works best where you have 2 minutes so I can let you know what I found? I'm going to call you tomorrow. I'll let you know what the best companies are. That way, when you're ready to go get a policy, you know who to go with, what you should be paying. And if you pay anything over that, you'd be overpaying. What time tomorrow? I can do morning or afternoon. Oh, can you email me? I'm not going to be able to do that because I might have some other underwriting questions tomorrow when we get on the phone. It'll only take 30 seconds. Or mornings or afternoons better. I ain't emailing them because then it's like a girl on the first date that sleeps with you. It's done. You've seen everything. You can't do that. You can't give away your power. You know what I mean? Sorry for that bad visual, but they need to have a reason to get back on the phone with you. Okay, just like a girl on the first date. You can't do that on the first date. You need to give them a reason to take you on a second date. You can't do that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, hey, John, here's what I do. I work for the top 50 companies. Rather than you trying to figure it out all on your own and overpaying, I have a database that I can type in your height, weight, tobacco, meds, all that. And it gives us the top 3 companies on the market for your family. So rather than you overpaying for your insurance needs, I can type it in and it'll give me a Transamerica, Mutual. It'll give us all these companies and you can see who's got the best plan available. But I need 24 hours to go do some research for us. And then tomorrow I can call you back. It'll take 30 seconds and I'll let you know what I found. And that way you and Tamara have something to talk about. And when you're ready to get insurance, when you're ready to protect your family, you'll at least know who to go with. Very we're going to get it taken care of tomorrow. And then when we chat tomorrow, I'm going to say, hey, here's the next steps. You know how to do that, right? But I make it so it's like and just say, hey, tomorrow when we chat, DJ, I'm gonna notate everything we went over, that I got you the proper quotes, and that we were sorry that we gave you the wrong ones through Ethos. And then once we chat tomorrow night, like I said, it's only gonna take 30 seconds. I'll notate everything in the file and we'll get you crossed out so people stop calling you. So their ass has to answer tomorrow, or I'm not crossing them out of the system. Does that make sense? And these little word plays and little things that you can do make it so they're like, all right, he's going to go do some research. He's got a database. He works for all these companies and he's going to go find me the top ones. That way, when me and John are ready, when me and Tim are ready, we'll at least know who to go through. Very non-pressure. Okay. And then say, after we chat tomorrow, John, I'll cross you out of the system that I got you the proper ones, the correct options. And then you should stop receiving calls about this. Sorry it took so long. We'll get it taken care of tomorrow. Hey, is 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock better? Well, can you email? No, because I might have some other underwriting questions because each company's underwriting is different. So it's got to be over the phone, but it'll only take 30 seconds. 4 or 6 better. Boom. Okay. I ain't emailing you nothing. I'll email them and text them quotes after I do the second call. Don't miss, but you don't want to do that. Like once you find the option and because then you're building the emotion on the first call and then the emotion goes away. They have their normal day. Their kids are crazy. This happens. They get busy at work. And then you just send them numbers. That accesses the logical part of their brain. I want to get back with them on the second call and say, hey, John, well, I know we had a great conversation yesterday. Your main concern was covering the mortgage. you make 120,000 a year. If that were to go away right now, that would be a big problem for Melissa. Okay, and she'd be up a creek financially. Okay, so here's the next step. Here's $1 million of coverage. Here's 750. Here's 500,000. You guys chat about which one's going to make the most sense for your family. Okay, all right. I'm going to call you back tomorrow. Whether you do the 20-year, 30-year, $1 million, whatever one you want to do, that's up to you. You know your budget and you know how much you're trying to leave her. Okay. I'm going to call you back tomorrow. Whatever one you choose, that's the one we're going to go with. And tomorrow we're going to go do the application to see if she gets medically approved. See if you get medically approved. There's no payment tomorrow. We're just going to do the application because you know how life insurance works. You can't buy it. You got to qualify for it. Okay. I can do afternoon. Is 2 or 4 better? So that's how I do it from the second call. Okay. Perfect. You are the wolf of life insurance. Okay. Do we know how long the ethos has them before integrity gets them? I don't, but most of the people apply within the last 3 to 4 months. If you get there's 2 leads you can buy. If you buy the $18 ones, those are 0 to 30 days old. But you have to figure, okay, this person applied for life insurance with Ethos. It took a little while. Then Ethos is having their agents call them, hey, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And Ethos has terrible pricing. So a lot of the times the people don't do that. Okay. Then they sell it to Integrity. Then the first agent that buys it for $18 has 0 to 30 days to buy it. Okay. Then it gets resold on there for $8. For whatever reason, I mean, the $18 ones are better, okay? Because you're going to get a lot of people that are like, I'm literally in underwriting right now. I'm good. Goodbye. I just got a policy a week. And sometimes you can do something about it. Sometimes you can't. The $18 ones are better, but you're paying more. The $8 ones, you have more chances. You know what I mean? So we found that you end up making the same from both, but just you can buy 30 leads of the $8 ones for the same as 12 leads of the $18 ones or whatever. If that makes sense. Okay. Let me see if I'm not covering anything. Will we be able to see this recording? I'm sure Nick will be able to get it out to us. Yes. Final thoughts. Okay. Oh, big deal here. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to. So we do a 3-call system when you're a brand new agent. So what we teach our agents is you do the first call. It's the fact finding. This is who I am. What happened? What were you looking for? What are your goals? Here's what I do. Then you schedule the second call. If you're brand new, typically your upline or the person who knows insurance, all that kind of stuff, they're on the second call with you, helping you close the client. So like with a brand new agent, you do the first call. You get the client to say, hey, I'm looking for $1 million on myself. I'm looking for $1 million on my wife. Our budget's $300 a month, blah, blah, blah. And then you do the callback. Okay. We get on the second call. Okay. And then we help you. Oh my gosh, where was I going with this? Okay. So we do the second call and then the closer comes in and it's not so we can close all your sales and you can just be like, oh, that's amazing. It's so you can see how we move people to action. Okay. And how we get the app. And then we help you schedule a time for the third call and you're calling them back. You can say, hey, John, if you have 10 minutes right now, and Mary, you guys know which one of those 3 options we presented that makes the most sense for you right now. We can go put in the application right now. If you believe, hey, we know we need to take care of this, but we just need 24 hours. Sean can call you back tomorrow and do the application. Do you know now, or do we need to do it tomorrow? Or whatever, however you do your closes. And then how long does okay. Oh yeah. So once you book the first, you do the first call and you book a second call with your manager or with your upline or whatever. Half of those people will not answer no matter how good you are. You can get better. I'm sure David, I probably get maybe like 60 to 65% because I use the tactic of, hey, when we chat tomorrow night, I'm going to be able to get your file out of the system, but not till we chat tomorrow. Cause I gotta upload everything that we talked about So all the other agencies, she's good, get them out, and I can get you out of there, and my manager sees it. Okay. I probably get like 60 to 70% answers on the second time, but no matter what, no matter how good you are, people are like, yeah, call me at 4. And then they have a work meeting that pops up, or their kid stays home from school and they're sick or whatever. So you have to be really, really good at not freaking out when your second call doesn't answer. So when they don't answer, you call them 3 times in a row, they don't answer. I'll shoot them a text. Hey, Susan, it's Mike. Are we still on for 4 p.m. as planned? ? And I'll give them 5 minutes. Don't hear anything. I'll call them again. And then I'll call them again in 10 minutes. And then I wait an hour. And then I call from a different number. Because I want to see, are they actually busy or are they ghosting me? So then I call from, you can go to YouTube and find out how to get a Google Voice number. And this is what people don't do, and it just pisses me off. I have sold literally hundreds of clients from not my number because they bailed on mine, or they didn't intentionally, but they were like, I know I had an appointment. I'll get back to that guy when I have time. But then when I catch them in the lie, they feel bad. So then I call from a different number. And then I'll say, hey, Sam, it's Mike. I know we had an appointment an hour ago. I tried calling you, but I've been having issues with Verizon in my phone. I shot you a text. I called you. I didn't hear anything back. It's probably on my end. I've had other clients say my texts weren't going through. I don't want you to think I'm unprofessional or I completely forgot about our appointment, because that is not the case. I had everything ready to go. I just been having issues with my phone. This is my personal line. So, but anyways, and then you go right into it. Okay. And usually they're like, oh my God, yeah, no, I saw it, but I was going to call you back. And then she's like, hey, John, look, like I said, we only need 2 minutes. Do you have 2 minutes right now, or do you need me to call you back? You know what I mean? And then you go from there. And I'll call them from all these different random, I know they're going to answer one of them. Okay. But if you're just dialing from your own number, that's stupid, because they save your number or they recognize that number and they're like, oh my gosh, I said it. I'm tied up right now. I'll call that guy later. And they have good intentions to call you later, but then they get busy like everybody else. I have people that call me about my car, and then I get back to the things that are most important to me. And even though this should be at the top of their priority list, it just, half of them they get busy throughout the day. You know what I mean? So here's how that goes. You call them from your number. They don't answer. You call them again. You call 3 times in a row. They don't answer. You shoot the text. Hey, John, are we still on for 4 p.m. as planned? ? So that way they know when you say as planned, you guys made a plan together, which kind of makes them feel bad. They're like, damn, we planned it together. Anyways, the crickets. 30 minutes later, I'll call from that number. And then 15 minutes later, I'll call from all kinds of different numbers. And you will have people answer you. I did this with a guy named David, who tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern, I'm writing an app for $700 a month for. All right, big IUL candidate. But I've been working on this guy for he blew off my number. And then I call, he's like, no, I meant to get back to you. He has a construction company. I've had a lot going on through work. This is really important to me. And I showed him the benefit of the doubt. You don't call him from a different number and you're like, gotcha. You don't do that. Okay. Put the blame on yourself. Just say, hey, DJ, it's Mike. We had an appointment an hour ago. I was trying to call you from my business line, but I've been having issues with Verizon that my texts weren't going through. I had everything ready to go. I honor my appointments. I didn't want you to think I was unprofessional or completely forgot about you and you're sitting there waiting on me. That's not how I do business. So this is my personal line. So anyways, like I said, it's only going to take 2 minutes. Do you have time now, or do we need to schedule a time to come? But now they'll apologize. When you say, I didn't want you to think I was unprofessional. I didn't want you to think I forgot about you. You were probably sitting there just waiting on my call because we planned it for 4 p.m. now they feel like they're like, oh, I had the grandkids and they were doing this, and we were playing out in the yard and whatever, right? Are you calling an ethos lead 3 different times? I only call them like midday and from 4 to 6 p.m. If they're older than 65, you can call them all throughout the day because they're pretty much retired. But when you're calling someone that's 42, you just got to figure like, hey, call them one time during the day. Maybe they have a tech job. Maybe they're an entrepreneur like me, where it's easy to answer phone calls during the day. But then when I'm at home at night, I'm with my kids and it's crazy. So people are like, oh, I'm only going to call at night. Okay. How do you know that what that person does, that's a good time to call them? So let's say a guy works out in the oil field and you're only calling in the day and he can't be on his phone at night or during the day, and he doesn't have service. You know what I mean? You should be calling that guy at night. That's why I do like a morning session and an evening session, because I know I'm probably going to catch him either midday or morning. And I just keep trying all different times so I get a hold of the guy. You know what I mean? But I'll dial 2 different times a day. Because you don't know there's some people that like they have a job where they literally cannot answer their phone during the day, or they're driving a trash truck or they're Uber or whatever. And then you have people that you're like, oh, they're young, it's probably best to call them at night. Well, not if they have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. It's the last person you want to, when you're playing with your kids, or your wife's had the kids all day and I'm on duty or whatever. Last person I'd want to talk to is somebody calling me to talk to me about. I'm like, yeah, call me tomorrow. I'm doing that. You know what I mean? So don't think that you know when's the best time. You just call them until they answer. Okay. How many leads do you buy a week? I'm buying right now like 60, between 60 to 70. But I also buy current client leads too. So I buy another type of lead from President's Club as well. Where are you getting all these different phone numbers from? If you go on YouTube, you can go Google how to get a Google Voice number. And you can, so let's say you're dialing Minnesota leads or Florida leads. You could actually go and let's say, like, I have a 719 number, which is Colorado Springs. So when I dial somebody in West Georgia, they're like, who the hell's calling me from Colorado? I will still get answers. People that answer on the first time. Hello? Don't think, oh my God, I need all these. If you call people over and over again, and also and again, we don't have time we got 4 minutes left. So, what do you do with texting? There's different text technique. And again, people do it different than me. I'm very aggressive. Whereas like, I'm trying to get that person on the phone, or when you call them, they're like, you do the first call and they're like, who is this? I'll say, John, it's Mike, call me back ASAP. And then they'll say, who is this again? And then I call them right away because I know they're on their phone. There's different things that you can do. But you can actually call them. So let's say you live in Texas and you're dialing California leads because you like to work at night. So if you're dialing, like, let's say, like, I'll do some stuff sometimes at like 9 or 10 p.m. when my family goes to bed. I'll go and buy California leads because those people are getting off work at 6. And I will dial leads at 10 at night and make sales and make appointments. Like if I'm like play golf during that day or what, like I'm not always doing that, but like if I want to work late, I can. Rather than watch a Netflix show, I'll go dial leads and make some money. You can do all kinds of different things, and I will go dial from a 310 number, which is like a Los Angeles. That 310 is their area code. You can go get a Google Voice number for whatever area you want to do it in. And sometimes people are more likely to answer a local phone number. So I hope that was helpful. Last thing, guys, just, I hope you guys got a lot out of like 40 or 50 minutes of this, but we're going to do this all day, Saturday the 20th. All right. Nick, and then the segment on the Sunday, 10 to 2, it's going to be all about IULs and annuities. Okay. And so, we've mastered this. We have tons of people that are making 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 grand a month and more selling from home. There's 5 or 6 fundamentals you have to get really, really good at. Knowing how many to buy, knowing what to say when they say this. You're going to learn the products over time. You know what I mean? And then, just like knowing like, and then being able to keep your mind right when stuff doesn't go your way. I mean, that's a business that has nothing to do with insurance. That's just like, if you were selling cars, if you were in network marketing, if you're in coaching little league soccer, like things don't always go your way. You're gonna have good weeks, you're gonna have bad weeks. I have weeks where some of my tactics don't work, and I have weeks where it's like everybody, you know what I mean? But just there's little things that you can do. It's like Jim Rohn says, like when you're new and you stink, you get 2 out of 10. When you're new, you get 2 out of 10, you get 2 out of 10. Then your 10th week, you get 3 out of 10 because you're getting better. Your skills are getting better. You're gonna suck at a lot of this stuff at the beginning, but if you can hang around for 2, 3, 4 months, you'll get really, really good at it. So hope that helped. Love you guys. We'll see you in Dallas, and we'll go from there.